Hey everybody, and welcome to the Grumpy and Shadow Show.
I'm Grumpy,
And I'm Shadow.
and today we're going to analyze the WWE Backlash predictions. So let's get to it.
So let's start with the non-title matches. First non-title match was the Usos versus the Hype Brothers for the qualifying match for the new SmackDown Tag Team titles.
And the Usos took that one.
We both knew they were gonna, but my question is now, what happens to the Hype Brothers and where they're gonna fit into the tag team division?
I kind of think it kind of brings them down to the ladder now. Now they got to work their way up to the top again.
Right. So I'm thinking that they won't even be close to contention till the end of the year, maybe even Royal Rumble in January.
But hey, we're talking about the WWE, so anything could happen.
This is true. Next on our list would be the Randy Orton Bray Wyatt match.
That was very unpredictable. Bray Wyatt attacked Randy Orton. In the storyline, he hurt Randy's leg. He was unable to compete, and he ended up wrestling Kane in a no-holds-bar match.
Right. Well, that was after Bray made the referee ring the bell, count to 10, and give him the match by forfeit. So he definitely has a win in the books over Randy Orton. Here's the thing. It was leaked earlier that day that Randy Orton was not going to participate in that match. I don't know if it's because he's still injured and he's not cleared yet to wrestle. But it was already determined long before the show started that he wasn't going to be in the match. Now, what had happened was Kane came down for that no-holds-barred match, and towards the end, Randy ran in, gave Bray Wyatt the RKO, and then Kane chokeslammed him, right?
With the chokeslam, and 1, 2, 3.
So, yeah, we both didn't predict that was gonna happen. I had really no idea that they were gonna pull him before the match. But this is the second time Randy's had bad luck in matches. I don't know if he's injured that they're doing it. I don't know if he's serving some sort of punishment. But something's got to break soon. And the same with Bray Wyatt. He's lost every match that he's been in for a while now. And, I mean, he didn't even win against Kane. He couldn't, he's becoming the Johnny Rods of the modern era.
He's not the fear of wrestling anymore. What's the fear? The RKO, the fear of wrestling.
Right. Well, that brings up a good point, because he does say that he's the face of fear in the WWE. Yet he keeps losing. No one takes him seriously. He's turning into the face of laughter in the WWE.
I would say that, yes.
I mean, I don't see anyone who's afraid of him anymore. I mean, he has such a magnetism and such charisma, and he comes out with that shtick of, I'm God. He could do so much with that. They could do so much with that character. And they're just making him out to look like, one of them crazy bums on the street who walk around going, I'm God and I'm coming at the end. It just seems like they're wasting another talented guy.
I would say so.
Which brings us to our first title match. Talk about wastes. The Miz against Dolph Ziggler.
I thought that Ziggler was really going to get that one. But again, he got the short end of the stick.
Well, here's what I think. Miz has been running around saying, "I'm not a coward. I'm not a coward. I'll show you all. I'm super aggressive. Blah blah blah." And when it comes down to it, what happens? He has his wife pepper spray Dolph Ziggler to get the win. Oh, he's not a coward, but he can't win with it by himself, which makes him a coward. And all the screaming and yelling of, you're all making fun of me for no reason, and you're underestimating me. It's wasted on the actions that they let them do in the ring. Whoever's writing this thing sucks.
And it makes us even laugh at him even more.
Whoever is writing for him, he should get new writers, because they're flip flopping. You can't 1 minute say, "I'm courageous, I'm strong, I'm powerful," and then have your wife bail you out in the middle of a match. It's crazy writing. I don't know where these people are coming up with their ideas. Anyway, the Miz got over on Dolph Ziggler. Ziggler is still, in my opinion, a higher mid Carter than the Miz is.
I don't think the WWE is giving Ziggler as much credit as he deserves.
I touched on this earlier in the other video, that Dolph has been held back because early on they claimed that he was accident prone. But he's been there, and he's been pulling his weight for a long time now without being out due to injuries or anything else, and they're still holding him down. I mean, they let him go for the world title. They let him go for the Intercontinental title, but they didn't give him either one. But I still say he's a higher mid-carder than Miz is.
I think sooner or later he should have a title, and I hope that he does, because he deserves it.
Well, deserving titles. Speaking of deserving titles, I personally think that Zack Ryder deserves a title. What they did to him by giving him the title for 24 hours and then taking it away from him, that was totally retarded.
I think that was wrong.
That was a waste of time. I mean, it made no sense. Why would you let him win it on a pay-per-view to have him lose it on a Raw the next day?
And to the Miz.
So anyway, our next title match would be the women's world title.
No, I call that wrong, but I do say that Becky Lynch did deserve that title. She implemented this armor to Carmen, the Staten Island princess, and she ended up victory. And I think that the fiery redhead really deserves it.
I said from the get-go that Becky deserved this belt, but what I started to see during that match is that Carmella and Nikki have some bad blood between them, which is going to end up in a nice program. I can see that stretching out till at least the end of October, maybe even to Survivor Series, which gives Becky plenty of other people to face. But I think that those two should concentrate on putting out a really good program. Now, there were only 6 matches for the 3 hours of the pay-per-view, which gave each match more time, more exposure, and more opportunity for the athletes to showcase their abilities. I think the shortest match was a little over 10 minutes, and the longest match was maybe about 20 minutes. I know the Miz match was a little over 18 minutes. So they all got, rather than a 6 or 7 minute match that you normally get on pay-per-views for the mid-card matches, they got the extended matches, which gave them a lot more flexibility. I mean, they don't even have a 3-hour television show, yet they had the 3-hour pay-per-view with the limited roster that they have, and it paid off. You could tell by the quality of the matches that that's.
A lot of the wrestlers did give good entertainment on almost every single match.
Which brings us to our next match. The Usos versus Heath Slater and Rhino. Now, we had a discussion about this the last time, and you said without a shadow of a doubt there's no way Heath Slater's going to win that title.
But if you remember, you looked at it, Heath Slater was down. Rhino came in, gave one of the Usos
The spear?
the spear. Then Heath Slater crawled over, finally got on top of him. The referee at 1, 2, 3.
The question is, were any rules broken?
Yeah.
No, there were not.
Rhino was not the legal man.
He wasn't in past the 5 count.
He did it without the referee seeing him.
No rules broken.
Well, hey,
Clean win.
a win's a win. But we'll see how long that lasts, because I still say Heath Slater is still the weak link in the tag team.
We'll see. Speaking of a win's a win, though, let's touch on that world title match. AJ Styles, the phenomenal AJ Styles, against the Asylum Keeper, Dean Ambrose.
Well, let me just sum it up.
I can sum it up in 2 words. Low blow.
Low blow, finishing move, 1, 2, 3. Sorry, Dean. But, I think hopefully they'll have a return match, and maybe Dean will become victory, and he'll probably end up giving him a low blow.
Well, see, this is what I'm starting to think is, okay, maybe Dean losing this match leaves him open to join the Shield for a one-night-only reunion at one of the big pay-per-views, since now he doesn't have a title and Seth Rollins has turned face. So now you've got all 3 of them that are available and on the same side.
I think the fan would like to see the Shield together.
So the possibility of a Shield reunion doesn't seem so far-fetched just for a one-night-only thing. The other thing is AJ was interviewed after the match, and they specifically asked him, well, do you think that, your win is now tarnished because of, the way you won it? And basically his response was, a win's a win. You got to do what you got to do to win. And I did what I had to do and I won. So it's in the record books I won. I have the title. That's all that matters. And, he's a shithead. Yeah, he really is.
What was that saying?
From Captain Lou?
No, what was that saying that the Body Ventura used to say?
Well, he took that from Captain Lou Albano. And what he said is, win if you can, lose if you must, but always cheat. And I guess AJ took that to heart. Now, here's the question, though. I mean, AJ's got the title. Cena is doing their Asian tour. Dean Ambrose is there. Who, if you discount Dean Ambrose because he just lost, who is the next one in contention for the WWE World title?
Must have a return match.
I mean, yeah, but they're going to have a return match. But let's just hypothesize for a minute and say that Dean Ambrose loses that return match. Who's up next?
It's a good question.
I mean, Randy Orton obviously isn't cleared. Bray Wyatt loses every match, so he's not in contention. John Cena's already been beat by AJ Styles. So who does that leave? I mean, Dolph Ziggler even lost the Intercontinental shot. So, who does that leave to push up against AJ Styles? Unless they're going to bring Luke Harper back and instead of the Intercontinental Championship that he went for before, they're going to let him go for the world title. Which I can't really see that happening. But it'd be interesting to see where they take this title from here. And on a side note, speaking of title holders, CM Punk, former champion of the WWE, had his UFC debut this weekend.
He lost in about 3 minutes.
Oh my God, it was
First
horrible.
round.
Oh my God, it was horrible. Not only did he lose, this guy took out his legs, got behind him, he getting a rear naked choke, and basically it was over. But what I didn't say was that first when he got him down, he pounded the hell out of his face. He pounded the hell out. If you saw him after the match, he had welts and bruises, and he looked like I just fought Brock Lesnar. I'm hoping that he rethinks his idea of getting into the UFC ring. Now, I'm not saying he gives up on mixed martial arts or anything like that. I think that if he went with something like the Lions Den, which is a lesser club than UFC, and maybe fought on that level for a little while and trained a little differently, I think eventually he could come back to the UFC and put up a good show. But right now, I can't. Yeah, I mean, right now, if he goes back to the UFC on his next fight, the same thing's going to happen.
Basically, get a little experience, practice, get experience, practice, and go to the big leagues.
Yeah, he took a hell of a jump when he went from the WWE to punch your face in UFC fighting. And, without any previous experience, I don't think he's ever had a mixed martial arts match before that.
At least it didn't look like he had an experience anyway.
At least he looked like he loved the canvas, too. But anyway, that's just, my opinion.
Now, here's a reminder. Night of the Champions, WWE, in about 2 weeks, look at the WWE, look on their site, and that will give you all the information you need.
And, of course, as always, we'll be doing a predictions video the weekend before the pay-per-view. Anything else? Oh, yes, there is one more thing. Everyone seems to think that Daniel Bryan's going to get back into the ring to face The Miz because they've got a lot of heat going on and it's building and it's a good program. It's not going to happen. They're not going to let Daniel Bryan anywhere near that ring. Matter of fact, everyone's been told to keep him away from that ring. Keep all stories away from with him away from that ring. He's not to get back in that ring. There's too much of a health risk. And speaking of health risks, the rumor, and I say rumor, I heard it at a few different places. I believe one of them was the Bleacher Report. I believe one of them was Pro Wrestling Illustrated. No, it was the Wrestling Torch. That the reason Randy Orton isn't cleared to get into the ring is because of a concussion. And if that's the case, I hope that they don't pull that same thing they did with Daniel Bryan, where, oh yeah, you're cleared, but we're not going to clear you and you can't wrestle anymore. I know that we're going to have to wait and see, but if it is a concussion, our thoughts go out to him and his family. I hope he's okay. But, I'd hate to see that end his career.
Right.
All right, with that said, I'd like to say thank you, everybody, and have a good night.
Thank you for watching the Grumpy and Shadow Show. Have a good night.
Don't forget to leave your thoughts and opinions in the comment section below.